Marcus Hale had everything: a multi-million-dollar company, a picture-perfect fiancée, and a future so bright it could blind you. But on the day of his engagement party, surrounded by champagne and cameras, his entire world shattered in less than 60 seconds. A little boy with his exact green eyes appeared in the doorway, clutching a ring Marcus thought was lost forever, and beside him stood the woman who vanished 6 years ago without explanation. What Marcus didn't know was that his fiancée had orchestrated the cruelest deception imaginable, destroying the love of his life and stealing away the son he never knew existed. Now, with the truth exploding across every headline and his reputation in ruins, Marcus faces an impossible choice: the empire he built from nothing, or the family that was taken from him. If you're watching this, subscribe and tell me, would you burn your whole life down for a second chance at love? Because what happens next will restore your faith in redemption. The morning light filtered through the floor-to-ceiling windows of the Boston Harbor Hotel ballroom, casting golden streaks across white marble floors. Marcus Hale stood at the edge of the room, watching a team of decorators hang silk drapes and arrange white roses in crystal vases. Everything looked perfect. Everything felt wrong. "You need to smile more," Gavin Ross said, walking up beside him with 2 cups of coffee. "You're getting engaged today, not sentenced." Marcus took the coffee and forced a grin. "I'm smiling. That's your boardroom smile, not your 'I'm marrying the love of my life' smile." Marcus didn't answer. He sipped his coffee and watched Victoria Crane across the room, directing the photographer with sharp gestures. She wore a cream-colored dress that probably cost more than most people's monthly rent. Her dark hair was pulled back tight, showing off diamond earrings that caught the light every time she turned her head. She was beautiful, sophisticated, exactly the kind of woman a CEO should marry. So why did Marcus feel like he was standing at the edge of a cliff? "How long have you two been together?" Gavin asked. 2 years? Almost 3. "And you love her?" Marcus looked at his best friend. Gavin had known him since college, back when Marcus was building websites in his dorm room and eating ramen for dinner. Now Marcus ran Hale Tech, a software company worth millions, and Gavin was his CFO. They'd been through everything together. "She's good for me," Marcus said carefully. "She understands my world, my work." "That's not what I asked." Before Marcus could respond, Victoria appeared at his side. She kissed his cheek, leaving a faint mark of lipstick. "The caterers want to know if we're doing champagne or Prosecco for the toast. Whatever you think is best." "Champagne, then. It photographs better." She smoothed his tie. "And fix your collar. The press will be here in 2 hours." Marcus adjusted his collar while Victoria walked away, her heels clicking against the marble. "She's running this like a business merger," Gavin muttered. "It basically is." Marcus tried to sound light about it, but the words felt heavy. Gavin squeezed his shoulder. "I'll get you another coffee. You look like you need it." The hours passed too quickly. Guests began arriving at noon. Business partners, investors, distant relatives Marcus barely knew. Victoria had invited everyone important in Boston's business and social circles. The ballroom filled with laughter and polite conversation. Servers moved through the crowd with silver trays of appetizers. Marcus stood near the entrance, shaking hands and accepting congratulations. His face hurt from smiling. At 1 o'clock, Victoria took the small stage at the front of the room. A microphone had been set up. The crowd quieted. "Thank you all for being here," Victoria began, her voice smooth and practiced. "Today means everything to me, not just because of the commitment we're making, but because it represents the kind of partnership I've always believed in. Marcus is a man who understands loyalty, who values integrity, who knows that love isn't just a feeling, it's a choice we make every single day." The crowd applauded. Cameras flashed. Marcus felt like he was watching the scene from outside his own body. Victoria continued, talking about their future together, about building a legacy, about creating something that would last. Her words were perfect. They'd probably been rehearsed. Marcus glanced toward the entrance, suddenly desperate for fresh air. That's when he saw them. A little boy stood in the doorway, holding the hand of a woman Marcus hadn't thought about in years, hadn't let himself think about. The boy was small, maybe 5 years old. He had dark brown skin and bright green eyes that looked too familiar. In his other hand, he clutched a small velvet box, the kind that holds a ring. Marcus's heart stopped. The woman was Danielle Porter. She looked different than he remembered, older, more graceful, with her hair in natural curls that framed her face. She wore a simple grey dress and looked completely out of place among the designer gowns and expensive suits. Their eyes met across the room. Marcus saw her face go pale. She grabbed the boy's hand tighter and turned toward the exit. "Marcus!" Victoria's voice snapped him back. She was still on stage, waiting for him to join her. Marcus started walking toward the entrance instead. "Excuse me." He pushed through the crowd, ignoring confused looks from guests. By the time he reached the hotel lobby, Danielle was already outside on the sidewalk. "Danielle!" Marcus called. She froze but didn't turn around. The little boy looked up at her, then back at Marcus with those impossibly green eyes. Marcus walked closer, his heart pounding. "It's really you. We shouldn't be here." Danielle's voice shook. This was a mistake. The boy dropped the velvet box. It hit the concrete with a small thud. Marcus bent down and picked it up. His hands trembled as he opened it. Inside was a ring, a simple silver band with a small diamond. He'd given it to Danielle 6 years ago, back when he was still building his company, back when he had nothing but dreams and hope. "Where did you get this?" Marcus whispered. "Mommy, I'm hungry," the boy said, tugging on Danielle's hand. "I know, baby. We're leaving." Danielle reached for the ring box, but Marcus pulled it back. "Is he mine?" The question came out raw and desperate. Danielle's eyes filled with tears. "You shouldn't be here. You have a party, a fiancé." "Danielle, please." A taxi pulled up to the curb. Danielle grabbed the boy's hand and opened the door. "You shouldn't be here," she repeated, her voice breaking. Then she climbed into the cab with the boy and slammed the door. Marcus stood on the sidewalk, watching the taxi disappear into Boston traffic. The ring box felt heavy in his hand. He walked back inside slowly, his mind spinning. The party was still going. Music played. People laughed. Victoria was talking to a group of reporters near the stage. She saw him approach and excused herself. "Where did you go? You missed the toast." "I'm sorry. I just needed air." "You look pale." She touched his face. "Are you feeling sick?" "I'm fine." But he wasn't fine. Nothing was fine. Gavin appeared at his elbow. "The reporters want to do interviews now. Tell them I need to reschedule," Marcus said. Victoria's smile tightened. "Marcus, they're waiting." "I said reschedule." He walked away before she could argue, heading toward the exit. The party continued without him. That evening, Marcus sat alone in his penthouse overlooking the Boston skyline. The lights of the city sparkled below, but he barely noticed them. He'd sent Victoria home hours ago, promising he'd feel better in the morning. He wouldn't feel better. He knew that now. Marcus opened the bottom drawer of his desk, the one he never opened anymore. Inside was a small wooden box he hadn't touched in years. He lifted the lid. Inside was a matching engagement band, the ring he'd bought to go with the one he'd given Danielle. He'd never had the chance to give it to her. She'd disappeared before he could. Marcus held both rings now, the one from the box and the one from the sidewalk. They matched perfectly. His phone buzzed. A text from Victoria. "We need to talk about today." Marcus ignored it. Instead, he pulled out his laptop and opened social media. He typed Danielle's name into the search bar. It took 20 minutes of scrolling before he found her. She didn't post much, mostly pictures of classrooms and children's artwork. She was a kindergarten teacher now. Then Marcus found it. A photo from last month, a school fundraiser at a local park. Danielle stood in the picture wearing jeans and a bright yellow t-shirt. Next to her, holding her hand, was the boy. The caption read, "Liam and I ready to sell some cookies." Liam. Marcus zoomed in on the photo. The boy, Liam, had Danielle's warm smile. But his eyes were Marcus's eyes, the same green, the same shape. Marcus closed the laptop and stared at the rings on his desk. He didn't sleep that night. The next morning, Marcus called his lawyer, not the firm that handled Hale Tech's business, a different one, quieter, more discreet. "I need a private investigator," Marcus said. "Someone who can locate a former acquaintance." "What kind of information are you looking for?" "Everything." He gave them Danielle's name and the address of the school from her social media. Then he sat back and waited. Images kept flashing through his mind. Danielle crying 6 years ago, her voice breaking as she told him she couldn't do this anymore. Him standing in his apartment, confused and angry, holding his phone after she'd blocked his number. He'd tried to find her back then. She'd moved, changed her number, disappeared completely. Marcus had told himself she'd just given up on them, that she'd decided he wasn't good enough. He'd thrown himself into his work, building Hale Tech from nothing into something that mattered. He dated Victoria because she fit into his life easily, never asking for more than he could give. But now, sitting in his office with the memory of those green eyes staring at him, Marcus realized how much he'd buried. He remembered Danielle's text from 6 years ago. "I saw the messages, I know about her." Victoria. Marcus opened his old phone records, the ones saved in cloud storage. He searched through messages from 6 years ago. There weren't many from Victoria back then. They'd barely known each other. She was an event planner he'd hired for a company launch party, but there was one message thread that made his stomach drop. Victoria to Marcus. Last night was incredible. Can't wait to see you again. Marcus stared at the screen. He'd never written that. He'd never even seen this message until now. He called his investigator back. I need something else. Phone records. From 6 years ago. Everything. That's going to take time. I don't care. Get them. Marcus drove to the school that afternoon. He told himself he just wanted to see her, to make sure it was really Danielle, but deep down, he knew he needed answers. The elementary school was small and cheerful, with colorful murals painted on the outside walls. Children's laughter echoed from the playground. Marcus parked across the street and waited. At 3:30, the doors opened. Children streamed out, running toward waiting parents. Marcus scanned the crowd. Then he saw her. Danielle stood near the fence helping kids line up for recess. She wore jeans and a blue cardigan, her hair pulled back in a simple ponytail. She looked beautiful in a way that made Marcus's chest ache. Liam ran toward her from the playground. "Mommy, can we get ice cream?" "Maybe this weekend, baby." Marcus got out of his car. His legs felt heavy as he crossed the street. Danielle spotted him immediately. Her whole body went rigid. "We need to talk," Marcus said quietly. Danielle looked at the children around them, then at Liam. "Not here." "Then where?" She pulled him aside, away from the other parents. Her voice was low and sharp. "You need to leave. I saw the ring. I saw him." Marcus couldn't keep the emotion out of his voice. "Is he mine? You lost the right to ask that question 6 years ago. Danielle, please." "No." She stepped back. "You have a life now, a fiancé. I saw it all over the news this morning. You don't get to show up here and turn our world upside down." "I never knew," Marcus said desperately. "You disappeared. You blocked me. I had no idea. Because I saw the messages, I saw what you did with her." "What messages? What are you talking about?" Danielle's eyes filled with tears. "Don't play stupid. Victoria sent me screenshots. You and her together. All those nights you said you were working." Marcus felt like the ground had shifted under his feet. Danielle, I never did anything with Victoria. We barely knew each other back then. She had your number, your location, photos." "Photos of what?" "Mommy!" Liam ran toward them, interrupting. "I finished my picture." Danielle wiped her eyes quickly and knelt down. "That's great, baby." Liam looked at Marcus with curious eyes. "Who's he?" "Just someone Mommy used to know." "You're crying." "I'm fine. Let's go get your backpack, okay?" Liam nodded and ran back inside. Danielle stood up, not meeting Marcus's eyes. "You need to go. I'm not leaving until you tell me the truth. Is Liam my son?" "That's none of your business." "How is that not my business?" "Because you weren't there." The words burst out of her, raw and painful. "I was alone, Marcus. Completely alone. And now you show up 6 years later, expecting what? To just step into his life like nothing happened?" "I didn't know. I swear to God, I didn't know." Danielle's face crumpled. "It doesn't matter anymore. We're fine. We don't need you." She walked back toward the school, leaving Marcus standing on the sidewalk. He watched her disappear inside, then looked down at his hands. They were shaking. Marcus drove home in a daze. When he got back to his penthouse, Gavin was waiting in the lobby. "We need to talk," Gavin said. They went upstairs. Marcus poured them both a drink. "Victoria called me," Gavin said. "She's worried about you. She thinks you're having second thoughts." "I am." Gavin raised an eyebrow. "About the engagement?" "About everything." Marcus told him about Danielle, about the ring, about Liam. Gavin listened quietly, then leaned back in his chair. "I remember her. You were different back then. Happier. She thinks I cheated on her. With Victoria." "Did you?" "No. I barely knew Victoria 6 years ago. She planned one event for us." Gavin frowned. "That's strange. Why would she—" He stopped. "Marcus, you don't think Victoria would have faked messages? Manipulated Danielle?" Marcus rubbed his face. "I don't know what to think anymore. You need to find out the truth before you marry her. I asked my investigator to pull phone records from back then. And in the meantime, I need to know if Liam is mine." Gavin was quiet for a moment. "Are you ready for that answer?" Marcus didn't respond. He didn't know if he was ready, but he needed to know. The next evening, Marcus went back to the school. This time he brought something, a donation check for new computers. It was a flimsy excuse, but it worked. The principal was thrilled. "Mr. Hale, this is incredibly generous. Would you be willing to do a quick photo with the teachers for our newsletter?" Of course. Danielle was in the teacher's lounge when Marcus walked in. He saw the flash of panic in her eyes. "Ms. Porter, this is Marcus Hale from Hale Tech. He's just donated computers to all our classrooms." Danielle forced a smile. "That's very kind. I was hoping to see the classrooms where they'll be used," Marcus said. The principal beamed. "Ms. Porter, would you mind showing him your kindergarten room?" Danielle couldn't refuse, not without explaining why. They walked down the hallway in silence. Children's artwork covered the walls, bright paintings and messy handprints. "You didn't have to do this," Danielle said quietly. "I wanted to help. You wanted an excuse to see me." "That too." They reached her classroom. It was cheerful and warm, with beanbag chairs in one corner and a reading rug covered in alphabet letters. Liam sat at a small table, coloring. "Liam, this is Mr. Hale. He donated computers to the school." Liam looked up. "Hi." "Hi," Marcus said, his voice catching. Up close, the resemblance was impossible to ignore. "Mommy says my dad used to work with computers too," Liam said innocently. Marcus looked at Danielle. She'd gone pale. "Did she?" Marcus said carefully. "Yeah. She says he was really smart, but I don't know where he is now." Danielle knelt down beside Liam. "Baby, why don't you go wash your hands for snack time?" "Okay." Liam ran toward the classroom bathroom. The moment he was gone, Danielle turned on Marcus. "You can't do this. You can't just show up in his life. I'm not trying to hurt him. I just want to know the truth." "The truth?" Danielle laughed bitterly. "You want the truth? Fine. Yes. He's yours. Are you happy now?" Marcus felt the world tilt. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because I tried. I called you. I went to your apartment. But Victoria told me you didn't want to hear from me. She said you'd moved on." "She lied. She showed me pictures, Marcus, of you and her together." "Those were lies too." Danielle shook her head. "It doesn't matter anymore. It matters to me." Liam came running back. "I'm clean." Marcus helped carry boxes of supplies to Danielle's car after school. Liam chatted the whole time about his favorite video games and his friends at school. He was sweet and curious, and impossibly bright. Everything Marcus hadn't known he was missing. When they reached Danielle's car, an older sedan with a dented bumper, Marcus turned to her. "I'm not leaving this time," he said quietly. Danielle looked at him for a long moment. "You have a fiancé. Not for long. Don't make promises you can't keep." "I'm not." Marcus stepped closer. "I lost 6 years with him." "With you? I'm not losing anymore." Danielle's eyes filled with tears. "You can't just walk back into our lives. Watch me." He walked away before she could respond, his heart pounding with equal parts fear and determination. The next evening, Danielle stood in her small kitchen, stirring pasta sauce and trying not to think about Marcus. It wasn't working. "Mommy, when is Mr. Hale coming back?" Liam asked from the table where he was coloring. "I don't know, baby. I like him. He's nice." Danielle's hand tightened on the spoon. "Finish your picture, okay?" Her phone buzzed. A text from Marcus. "Can I see you tomorrow, please?" She stared at the message for a long moment, then set the phone down without answering. But her mother's voice echoed in her head. The same warning she'd given 6 years ago. Men like him don't stay. They promise everything and leave you with nothing. Danielle had learned that lesson the hard way. The doorbell rang. Liam jumped up. "I'll get it." "Wait!" Danielle hurried after him, but Liam had already opened the door. Marcus stood on the other side, holding a bag from the local pizza place. "I thought you might not have eaten yet," Marcus said carefully. Danielle wanted to slam the door. She wanted to tell him to leave and never come back, but Liam was already bouncing on his toes. "Pizza. Mommy, can he stay?" Marcus looked at her, hope and uncertainty written across his face. Danielle sighed. "Fine, but just for dinner." They ate at her small kitchen table, so different from Marcus's world of expensive restaurants and catered parties. Liam talked non-stop about his day, about his friends, about the caterpillar they'd found at recess. Marcus listened to every word like it was the most important thing he'd ever heard. "And then Tommy said bugs are gross, but I said they're cool because they turn into butterflies," Liam explained through a mouthful of pizza. "That's very true," Marcus said. "Butterflies are pretty amazing. Do you like bugs?" "I never really thought about them, but I think I'm starting to." Liam grinned. After dinner, he brought out his collection of toy cars and showed them to Marcus one by one. Marcus sat on the floor of the small living room, asking questions about each car, genuinely interested. Danielle watched from the kitchen doorway, her chest tight. This was what she'd wanted 6 years ago. This simple, ordinary life with someone who loved them. "Bath time," Danielle announced. "Ah, but we're playing. You can play more later. Go brush your teeth first." Liam groaned but ran toward the bathroom. Marcus stood up slowly, brushing off his expensive slacks. They looked ridiculous in her modest apartment. "He's wonderful," Marcus said quietly. "I know. You did an incredible job raising him. I didn't have a choice." The words hung between them, sharp and painful. Marcus stepped closer. "Danielle, I want to be part of his life, part of both your lives. You can't just decide that. You have a whole other life. I'm ending my engagement." Danielle's breath caught. "What?" "I called Victoria this morning. Told her we needed to talk. We're meeting tomorrow." "Marcus, you can't throw away your life because of one dinner." "I'm not throwing anything away. I'm choosing what matters." He reached for her hand, but she pulled back. "You don't know what you're choosing. You don't know what it's like. The sleepless nights, the worries, the constant responsibility. Being a parent isn't just showing up for pizza." "Then teach me." "Why should I? So you can play house for a few weeks and then leave when it gets hard." "I won't leave." "You already did." The words hit Marcus like a physical blow. "I didn't know. You should have known. You should have looked harder, tried harder." Danielle's voice cracked. "I needed you, Marcus. When I found out I was pregnant, when I was scared and alone, when I had to drop out of college because I couldn't afford childcare, I needed you. I'm sorry." "Sorry doesn't fix 6 years." Liam appeared in his pajamas, oblivious to the tension. "I'm ready for stories." Danielle wiped her eyes quickly. "Okay, baby, say goodnight to Mr. Hale." "Will you come back?" Liam asked Marcus. Marcus looked at Danielle. She didn't say no. "If your mum says it's okay," Marcus said carefully. "Please, Mommy." Danielle felt trapped between her son's hopeful face and her own fear. "We'll see." After Marcus left, she tucked Liam into bed and read him his favorite story about a bear who couldn't find his way home. When she closed the book, Liam looked up at her with those green eyes. "I think Mr. Hale is my dad," he said simply. Danielle's heart stopped. "Why do you think that?" "Because he has my eyes. And because you get sad when you look at him." "Baby, it's okay if he is. I just want to know." Danielle smoothed his curls back. "It's complicated. That's what grown-ups always say when something is hard." She kissed his forehead. "You're too smart for your own good. Go to sleep." But after Liam drifted off, Danielle sat on her couch and cried. She cried for the girl she'd been 6 years ago, scared and alone. She cried for the years Marcus had missed, and she cried because part of her still loved him, even though she didn't want to. Marcus sat in his lawyer's office the next morning, staring at a stack of papers. "These are the phone records you requested," the lawyer said, "from 6 years ago." Marcus flipped through them. His hands shook. There, dozens of messages from Victoria's number to his phone. Messages he'd never sent, conversations he'd never had. "She spoofed my number," Marcus said slowly. "She made it look like I was messaging her. It appears that way. And she sent screenshots of these fake conversations to Ms. Porter." Marcus felt sick. "Can we prove it?" "We can try. But it was 6 years ago. Digital forensics can be tricky with old data." Marcus closed the folder. "Get me everything you can. I need to know exactly what Victoria did." That afternoon, Marcus met Victoria at an expensive restaurant downtown. She arrived wearing a cream suit and a bright smile. "I'm glad you called," she said, kissing his cheek. "I was worried after the party. We need to talk." "Of course, about the wedding. I've been thinking we should move the date up. Maybe spring instead of fall." "Victoria, I'm ending our engagement." Her smile froze. "What? I can't marry you." "Because of that woman? The one with the child?" Victoria's voice turned sharp. "Marcus, don't be ridiculous. She's nobody. She's someone I should have fought for 6 years ago. You didn't fight for her because she wasn't worth fighting for." "I did you a favor." Marcus's blood went cold. "What did you say?" Victoria realized her mistake too late. "Nothing, I just meant—" "What did you do?" Marcus leaned forward. "What did you do 6 years ago?" "I protected you. She was holding you back, Marcus. She was nobody, a college dropout with no prospects. You needed someone who understood your world. You sent her fake messages. You made her think I was cheating." Victoria's face hardened. "She would have ruined you. She would have trapped you with some pregnancy or drama. I saved you from that. She was pregnant with my son. And look at you now. Look at what you built. You should be thanking me." Marcus stood up, his chair scraping loudly against the floor. "We're done. The engagement is over. If you walk away now, I'll make sure everyone knows about your illegitimate child. I'll make sure the press destroys you. I don't care. Your company will care. Your board will care. Marcus leaned down close. Do whatever you want. I'm choosing them. He walked out of the restaurant without looking back. Victoria sat alone at the table, her face twisted with rage. Marcus spent the rest of the week trying to see Danielle and Liam. He showed up at the school with books for the classroom. He texted Danielle asking about Liam's favorite foods. He sent flowers to her apartment with a simple note. I'm sorry, I'm here now. Danielle didn't respond to any of it. But on Friday evening, when Marcus was sitting alone in his penthouse, his phone finally rang. Liam wants to see you, Danielle said without preamble. He keeps asking about you. Can I come over? There was a long pause. Tomorrow, 1 o'clock. We're going to the park. I'll be there. The park was crowded on Saturday afternoon. Families spread out on blankets. Children ran through the playground. Marcus found Danielle and Liam near the duck pond. Liam spotted him first and ran over. How you came? Of course I came. Marcus knelt down. What are we doing today? Feeding the ducks. Mommy brought bread. They walked to the edge of the pond together. Liam threw pieces of bread into the water, laughing as ducks paddled over to eat them. Marcus stood next to Danielle. Thank you for letting me come. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for Liam. I know. They watched Liam in silence for a while. He was so full of joy, so completely unaware of the complicated adult emotions swirling around him. I ended my engagement, Marcus said quietly. Danielle didn't look at him. I heard. It's all over social media. Victoria's threatening to leak the story about Liam. Let her. I'm tired of hiding. I don't want him hurt by this. He's going to be hurt no matter what. That's what you don't understand. Danielle finally looked at him. You can't protect him from everything. You can't just throw money at problems and make them disappear. I know that. Do you? Because from where I'm standing, you're used to getting everything you want. Marcus was quiet for a moment. You're right. I am used to that. But this isn't about what I want. This is about what Liam deserves. And what does he deserve? A father who shows up, who stays, who loves him. Danielle's eyes filled with tears. Don't make promises you can't keep. I'm not. Liam ran back to them, breathless and excited. The ducks ate all the bread. Can we get ice cream now? Sure, baby. They walked to the ice cream truck together. Liam got chocolate. Danielle got vanilla. Marcus got nothing because he was too nervous to eat. They sat on a bench while Liam chased pigeons nearby. I want to do a paternity test, Marcus said suddenly. Danielle stiffened. You don't believe me. It's not about belief. It's about making everything official. So there's no question. So he's protected legally. Danielle was quiet for a long moment. Fine, but if we're doing this, we're doing it my way. No press, no drama, just the facts. Agreed. And Marcus, she looked at him seriously. If you're going to be in his life, you can't disappear when things get hard. You can't just show up for the fun parts. I won't. I mean it. Liam already lost one father before he knew him. I won't let him lose another. You won't have to. They scheduled the paternity test for Monday morning. It was quick and painless, just a cheek swab for Marcus and Liam. Liam thought it was an adventure. Why are we doing this? He asked as they left the clinic. Danielle knelt down. Remember how you said Mr. Hale might be your dad? Yeah. Well, this test will tell us for sure. Oh, Liam thought about that. Will he stay if he is? We'll figure that out together. Marcus watched them, his chest tight with emotion. Everything about this was terrifying and perfect at the same time. The results would take a week. 7 days of waiting and wondering and trying not to hope too much. Marcus spent those 7 days trying to prove himself. He showed up at the school every day with some excuse. Delivering books, fixing a broken projector, volunteering to read to the kindergarten class. The other teachers started recognizing him. The kids loved him. Danielle watched it all with guarded eyes. On Wednesday, Marcus took Liam to a science museum. Danielle came too, staying a few steps behind, making sure things went okay. Liam was fascinated by everything. The dinosaur bones, the planetarium, the room where you could make your own tornado. Marcus explained things patiently, getting down on Liam's level, never talking down to him. You're good with him, Danielle admitted as they drove home. He makes it easy. Most people find kids exhausting. I find him energizing. Danielle didn't respond, but something in her expression softened. On Friday, Gavin showed up at Marcus's office with a serious expression. Victoria's planning something, he said. I heard from a friend at the newspaper. She's shopping around a story. About Liam. About all of it. The engagement. The breakup. The secret child. She's trying to control the narrative before you do. Marcus rubbed his face. When? Soon. Maybe this weekend. I need to tell Danielle. Marcus drove to Danielle's apartment that evening. She answered the door in sweatpants and a t-shirt, looking exhausted. Liam's asleep, she said. What's wrong? Victoria's going to leak the story. About us. About Liam. Danielle's face went pale. When? This weekend, maybe. Oh, God. She sat down on the couch, her head in her hands. The parents at school are going to find out. Everyone's going to know. Marcus sat beside her. I'm sorry. Do you know what this means? Every time I drop Liam off at school, people will stare, they'll whisper, they'll judge. Then we tell the story first, on our terms. I don't want to tell any story. I just want to live my life. Danielle's voice rose. You keep saying you want to help, but all you're doing is making everything harder. Danielle, no. You need to hear this. She stood up, pacing. You come from a world where scandals get managed by PR teams, where problems get fixed with money. But I live in the real world, Marcus, where reputation matters, where I can't afford to lose my job or have people think I'm some kind of gold digger who trapped a rich man. No one will think that. You don't know what people think. You don't know what it's like to be judged for every single choice. Her voice broke. I've worked so hard to build a stable life for Liam, and now you're here, and everything is falling apart. Marcus stood up slowly. I never meant to hurt you, but you are hurting me. Just by being here, you're hurting me. The words hung in the air, painful and raw. Before Marcus could respond, his phone buzzed. A news alert. Tech CEO Marcus Hale's secret child revealed. Danielle saw it too. Her face crumpled. It's already out, Marcus whispered. Danielle's phone started buzzing. Texts, calls, notifications. Marcus's phone did the same. You need to leave, Danielle said, her voice shaking. Let me help. You've helped enough. Please just go. Marcus wanted to argue, wanted to stay, but he could see the panic in her eyes, the way her hands were shaking. So he left. Outside, he sat in his car and watched the lights go off in Danielle's apartment one by one. His phone kept buzzing with messages from reporters, from business partners, from people he barely knew. He ignored all of them. Sunday morning, Marcus woke to the sound of his doorbell ringing constantly. He looked through the peephole and saw reporters camped outside his building. His phone had hundreds of notifications. The story was everywhere. News sites, social media, gossip blogs, pictures of him and Danielle from years ago, pictures of Liam from her social media, speculation about everything. Tech CEO abandons ex and secret son. Marcus Hale's hidden family scandal. From rags to riches, but at what cost? Marcus felt sick. He called Danielle. She didn't answer. He called again. Nothing. Finally, he drove to her apartment. There were reporters there too, but fewer. He pushed through them, ignoring their shouted questions. Danielle opened the door before he could knock. Her eyes were red from crying. I told you to stay away, she said. I needed to make sure you're okay. We're not okay. She stepped outside and closed the door behind her. Parents from school are calling. My principal wants to meet with me. There are reporters outside our building. Liam asked me this morning why people were taking pictures of our house. I'm sorry. You promised privacy. You promised this wouldn't hurt him. I didn't leak the story. Victoria did. It doesn't matter who did it. It's out there now. Everyone knows. Danielle's voice rose. Do you understand what you've done? You've made my son into a news story, a scandal, something for people to gossip about. I'll fix this. How? You can't undo what's been done. Then let me help protect you. Both of you. I can hire security. I don't want your money. Danielle's hand connected with his face. A sharp, sudden slap that left both of them shocked. She stepped back, her hand over her mouth. I'm sorry. I didn't mean... It's okay. No, it's not okay. Nothing about this is okay. Tears streamed down her face. You need to leave, Marcus. You need to stay away from us. Danielle, please. I mean it. I can't risk Liam's peace again. I won't. She opened her door. Stay away from us. She went inside and closed the door. Marcus stood on the doorstep, his cheek stinging, his heart breaking. This was the fall, the moment where everything collapsed, and he had no idea how to fix it. Marcus sat in Gavin's office Monday morning, staring at the wall. He hadn't slept, hadn't eaten. The slap mark on his face had faded, but the memory of Danielle's words still burned. The board wants to meet, Gavin said quietly. They're concerned about the company's image. Let them be concerned. Marcus, you need to take this seriously. The stock dropped 3 points this morning. I don't care about the stock. Gavin leaned forward. Then what do you care about? Them, Danielle and Liam. I care about fixing what I broke. You can't fix it if you lose everything. The board is talking about asking you to step down. Marcus looked at his friend. Then let them. What? I said let them? Marcus stood up. I built this company from nothing. I gave it everything I had, but if choosing my son means losing it, then I lose it. Marcus, think about what you're saying. I have thought about it. For the first time in years, I'm actually thinking clearly. Marcus grabbed his jacket. Set up a press conference today. For what? I'm going to tell the truth. All of it. The press conference was held at 2 o'clock in the HaleTech building. Reporters packed the room, cameras flashing, microphones ready. Marcus stood at the podium, his hands gripping the edges to keep them steady. Thank you for coming, he began. I'm here to address the recent news about my personal life. 6 years ago, I was in a relationship with Danielle Porter. We were young and building our lives. I loved her deeply, but through a series of manipulations that I didn't discover until recently, we were separated. Danielle was led to believe I had betrayed her. I was led to believe she had simply given up on us. He paused, taking a breath. The truth is that neither of those things happened. We were victims of deliberate interference. As a result, I missed the first 5 years of my son's life. I take full responsibility for not fighting harder to find the truth back then, for accepting the easy narrative instead of digging deeper, for building a company while a woman I loved raised our child alone. Marcus looked directly into the cameras. I'm here today to say that I'm stepping back from my role as CEO of HaleTech, effective immediately. Not because the board asked me to, but because I need to focus on what truly matters. I need to be the father my son deserves. I need to earn back the trust of the woman who gave me the greatest gift of my life, even when I didn't know it. Reporters shouted questions. Marcus ignored them. I'm also announcing that I will not be pursuing legal action against anyone involved in the past deception. The truth is now public, and that's enough. I'm choosing to move forward, not backward. I'm choosing family over revenge. Thank you. He walked off the stage while reporters continued shouting questions. Gavin caught up with him in the hallway. That was either the bravest or the stupidest thing you've ever done. Probably both. The board is going to accept your resignation. Good. And Victoria's going to be furious. Even better. Marcus went home and packed a bag. His penthouse felt cold and empty, all glass and steel with no warmth. He'd lived here for 3 years, and it had never felt like home. He called a realtor. I need to sell this property fast. Then he found a small townhouse for rent in Danielle's neighborhood. It wasn't fancy. The kitchen was outdated, and the bathroom needed work, but it had a yard and was walking distance to Liam's school. Marcus signed the lease that afternoon. The next few weeks were the hardest of Marcus's life. He moved into the townhouse with minimal furniture. He volunteered at a local youth center 3 blocks from Liam's school. He kept his distance from Danielle, respecting her wishes, but he made sure he was visible, available. Every morning he saw Danielle drop Liam off at school. She never looked his way, but Liam would sometimes wave. Marcus would wave back, his heart breaking a little more each time. The press eventually moved on to other scandals. The social media frenzy died down. Life slowly returned to something like normal. But Marcus's life was nothing like it used to be. He spent his days helping at the youth center, teaching kids basic computer skills, fixing broken equipment, just being present. He spent his evenings in his small townhouse, cooking dinner for one, wondering if Danielle would ever forgive him. Gavin visited on a Thursday evening, bringing Chinese takeout. You look terrible, Gavin said, setting containers on the kitchen counter. Thanks. I'm serious. When's the last time you slept? I sleep. Not well, I'm guessing. Gavin opened a container of fried rice. The board hired a new CEO, some guy from California. Very corporate. Very boring. Good for them. You don't care. I care. I just care about other things more. Marcus picked at his food. Have you seen the test results? They came back yesterday. The lawyer's office called. Marcus's heart stopped. And 99.9% match. He's yours. Marcus closed his eyes. He'd known, of course. He'd seen it in Liam's face, in his expressions, in the way he tilted his head when he was thinking. But having it confirmed felt different, real, permanent. I'm a father, Marcus whispered. Yeah, you are. Now you just need to figure out how to actually be one. Marcus called Danielle that night. She didn't answer. He left a voicemail. The test results came back. I know you probably already got them. I wanted you to know that I'm here. Whenever you're ready to talk, whenever Liam's ready, I'm not going anywhere. She didn't call back. But 2 days later, Marcus received an email from Danielle's lawyer. It outlined a proposed custody arrangement, supervised visits, gradually increasing time, eventually leading to shared custody if things went well. Marcus read it 3 times, his hands shaking. She was giving him a chance, a real chance. He called his own lawyer immediately. Accept everything, whatever she wants, just make it happen. The first official visit was scheduled for the following Sunday. Marcus was supposed to pick Liam up at 10 in the morning and bring him back by 4. Marcus barely slept Saturday night. He cleaned his townhouse top to bottom. He bought groceries, the kind of things kids liked: chicken nuggets, apple juice, string cheese. He felt ridiculous and terrified, and more excited than he'd felt about anything in years. Sunday morning he arrived at Danielle's apartment exactly at 10. She answered the door with Liam beside her. The boy had a small backpack with a change of clothes and his favorite toy car. "Hi," Marcus said softly. "Hi," Danielle replied. Her voice was carefully neutral. Liam looked between them. "Are we going now?" "Yeah, buddy, if that's okay with your mum." Danielle knelt down and adjusted Liam's jacket. "Remember what we talked about? You listen to Mr. Hale. You use your manners. And if you need me, you call." "I know, Mummy." She kissed his forehead, then stood and looked at Marcus. "He needs to eat lunch by noon. He doesn't like tomatoes, and he gets scared during thunderstorms." "I'll remember." "His inhaler is in the front pocket of his bag, just in case." "Okay," Danielle bit her lip. "If anything happens, I'll call you immediately, I promise." She nodded, her eyes suspiciously bright. She hugged Liam one more time, then stepped back. Marcus took Liam's hand. It felt small and warm in his. They drove to the park first. Liam chattered the whole way about school, about his friends, about a book he was reading. Marcus hung on every word. At the park, they threw a frisbee. Liam was terrible at catching it, but he laughed every time it sailed over his head. Marcus showed him how to throw it flat instead of vertical. After a few tries, Liam got it right and jumped up and down with excitement. "I did it! Did you see?" "I saw. That was perfect." They got ice cream from a truck. Liam got chocolate again, but this time Marcus got strawberry. They sat on a bench and ate in comfortable silence. "My friend Tommy has a dad," Liam said suddenly. "He goes to Tommy's baseball games and stuff." "Yeah? Do you like baseball?" "I've never really watched it, but I could learn." Liam thought about that. "Mommy says you're my real dad now, not just Mr. Hale." Marcus's throat tightened. "How do you feel about that?" "I don't know yet. It's weird." Liam licked his ice cream. "Good weird, I think. It's weird for me too." "Really?" "Really. I've never been a dad before, so I might make mistakes sometimes." "That's okay. Mommy makes mistakes too. She says that's how people learn." Marcus smiled. "Your mum is very smart." "I know." They went back to Marcus's townhouse after lunch. Liam explored every room, fascinated by everything. The spare bedroom was mostly empty except for a small desk and chair. "Is this going to be my room?" Liam asked. "If you want it to be. We can decorate it however you like." "Can I pick the paint color?" "Absolutely." Liam grinned. "Cool." They spent the afternoon building with Legos. Marcus had bought a big set, thinking it might help them bond. Liam took charge immediately, directing Marcus on what pieces to find and where they should go. "No, not that one. The blue one." "This blue one? The other blue one?" Marcus laughed. "You're very specific. Mommy says I get that from her. I think you might get it from me too." Around 3:30, Liam started getting tired. He yawned and rubbed his eyes. "We should probably get you home soon," Marcus said. "Can I come back?" "Do you want to?" "Yeah, this was fun." Marcus felt something warm spread through his chest. "Then yes, you can come back." When they pulled up to Danielle's apartment, she was waiting by the window. She opened the door before they could knock. "Hi, Mummy. We had so much fun." Liam launched into a detailed recap of their day. Danielle listened, smiling, her eyes occasionally flicking to Marcus. "That sounds wonderful, baby. Why don't you go wash your hands, then you can tell me more." Liam ran inside. Danielle stepped onto the doorstep, closing the door behind her. "How was he really?" she asked quietly. "Perfect. He was perfect." "Did he eat?" "Chicken nuggets and apple slices, and ice cream, but don't tell him I told you that." A small smile tugged at Danielle's lips. "He's always trying to sneak extra ice cream." They stood in awkward silence for a moment. "Thank you," Marcus said finally, "for giving me this chance. I'm not doing it for you." "I know, but thank you anyway." Danielle looked at him for a long moment. "He really did have fun. I can tell." "So did I." "Marcus!" She stopped, searching for words. "I'm still angry at you. For everything, for not being there, for the scandal, for all of it. I know. But Liam needs his father, and watching him with you today, I can see that you're trying. Really trying. I am. I promise." She nodded. "Then we'll take it slow. One day at a time. That's all I'm asking for." She went back inside, but she didn't slam the door this time, just closed it gently. Marcus drove home with his heart lighter than it had been in weeks. The next few weeks fell into a pattern. Marcus picked Liam up every Sunday. Sometimes they went to the park. Sometimes they stayed at the townhouse and played games. Once they went to an aquarium, and Liam talked about fish for 3 days straight. Slowly, Danielle started relaxing. She still kept her distance from Marcus, but she stopped looking at him like he was a threat. She asked about his day, made small talk. Once, she even laughed at something he said. Marcus's life in the neighborhood became routine. He knew the woman who ran the corner store. He helped an elderly neighbor carry groceries. He fixed computers at the youth center and tutored kids in math. This wasn't the life he'd planned, but it felt more real than anything he'd done before. One afternoon, Marcus was leaving the youth center when he ran into Danielle's mother, Elaine. She was coming out of the grocery store, arms full of bags. "Let me help," Marcus said, reaching for the bags. "I can manage," Elaine said sharply. "Please, it's no trouble." She studied him for a long moment, then handed over 2 bags. They walked in silence toward her car. "You're the one who broke my daughter's heart," Elaine said finally. "Yes, ma'am. And now you're back, trying to make it right." "I'm trying. Men like you don't usually try. They make promises and disappear." She opened her trunk and started loading bags. "You come from a world of money and power, a world where problems get solved with lawyers and checkbooks. That's not what I'm trying to do here." "Then what are you trying to do?" Marcus met her eyes. "I'm trying to be a father, and maybe, if she'll let me, I'm trying to win back the woman I love." Elaine was quiet for a moment. "Danielle won't be won back with grand gestures. She's been through too much." "I know. She needs someone who shows up, every day, not just the easy days." "I understand. Do you?" Elaine stepped closer. "Because men like you, successful men, powerful men, you're used to getting what you want. But my daughter isn't something to win. My grandson isn't a prize. They're real people with real hearts that have already been broken once." "I know that, Mrs. Porter. And I'm not trying to win them like a game. I'm just trying to show up every day like you said." Elaine studied him for a long moment. "We'll see. Words are easy. It's the showing up that's hard." She got in her car and drove away, leaving Marcus standing in the parking lot. That evening, Marcus was cooking dinner when his phone rang. Danielle's name flashed on the screen. His heart jumped. She never called him. "Hello? Marcus?" Her voice was tight with panic. "I need your help." "What's wrong?" "It's Liam. We're at the hospital. He had an asthma attack and—" Her voice broke. "I can't reach my mom and I don't have anyone else and I'm on my way." "Which hospital?" "Boston Children's. The emergency room." "I'll be there in 10 minutes. Marcus grabbed his keys and ran. The drive took 8 minutes. Marcus parked illegally and sprinted into the emergency room. He found Danielle in the waiting area, her face streaked with tears. "What happened?" Marcus asked, pulling her into a hug without thinking. She didn't pull away. "We were at the park and he was running and he couldn't breathe. I had his inhaler, but it wasn't helping and—" She sobbed against his chest. "Is he okay now?" "They have him on oxygen. They said he'll be fine, but I was so scared. Can I see him?" "I don't know if they'll let you. I'm his father. They have to let me." Danielle looked up at him, her eyes red and swollen. Then she nodded. They went to the nurses' station together. After some explaining and checking of records, they were allowed back to see Liam. He was in a small curtained area, oxygen tubes in his nose, looking tiny and scared in the hospital bed. "Mommy," he said when he saw them. His voice was hoarse. Danielle rushed to his side, kissing his forehead. "I'm here, baby. You're okay?" Liam saw Marcus standing behind her. "You came too?" "Of course I came. Your mom called and I got here as fast as I could." "I couldn't breathe," Liam said, his eyes filling with tears. "It was scary." Marcus sat on the other side of the bed and took Liam's small hand. "I know, buddy. But you're okay now. The doctors are taking good care of you. Will you stay?" Marcus looked at Danielle. She nodded. "I'll stay as long as you need me," Marcus said. They sat on either side of Liam's bed while he drifted in and out of sleep. The doctor came by and explained that Liam's asthma had been triggered by running in cold air. They wanted to keep him overnight for observation, but he should be fine. Danielle finally relaxed, her head dropping forward with relief. Marcus got her coffee from the cafeteria. She accepted it gratefully. "Thank you for coming," she said quietly. "I didn't know who else to call. You can always call me. Always." They sat in silence for a while, watching Liam sleep. "This is what I was afraid of," Danielle said finally. "Not the asthma attack, but this, needing you, depending on you. What happens when you decide this is too hard, when you get bored or overwhelmed or just tired of playing dad? That's not going to happen. You don't know that." "Yes, I do." Marcus turned to face her. "Danielle, I know I haven't earned your trust yet. I know I have years of showing up ahead of me, but I need you to know something. There is nowhere else I want to be. No other life I'm missing. This is it for me, you and Liam, that's everything." Danielle's eyes filled with tears. "Don't say things you don't mean. I mean every word." She looked at him for a long moment, searching his face for doubt or hesitation. She didn't find any. "Okay," she whispered finally. "Okay." They stayed at the hospital all night. Marcus slept in an uncomfortable chair while Danielle dozed on a small couch. When Liam woke in the morning, he smiled to see both of them there. "You really stayed," he said to Marcus. "I really stayed." "Cool." They took Liam home that afternoon. Danielle invited Marcus up to help settle Liam into bed. "Can Marcus read me a story?" Liam asked. Danielle hesitated, then nodded. "If he wants to." "I want to," Marcus said. He read 3 stories before Liam finally fell asleep. When he came back to the living room, Danielle was making tea. "Want some?" she asked. "Sure." They sat on the couch, both exhausted. Outside, rain had started to fall, tapping against the windows. "I called my mum this morning," Danielle said. "She told me she ran into you yesterday." "She did. She said you helped her with her groceries." "It was nothing." "She also said you told her you love me." Marcus's heart stopped. He set down his tea carefully. "I do." "Marcus, I know it's complicated. I know we have a lot to work through, but it's the truth. I never stopped loving you, Danielle. Not even when I thought you'd left me. Not even when I tried to move on. You've been it for me since the day we met." Danielle was quiet for a long moment. "I don't know if I can trust that. I know. I don't know if I can trust you. I know that too. But I want to." Her voice broke. "God help me, I want to." Marcus reached for her hand. This time, she didn't pull away. "Then let me prove it," he said softly. "Every day, one day at a time. Let me show you that I'm not going anywhere." Danielle looked at their joined hands, tears running down her face. "Okay. Yeah? Yeah." She looked up at him. "But if you hurt him, if you hurt either of us again, I won't. Promise me." "I promise." They sat in silence, holding hands, listening to the rain. It wasn't forgiveness yet. It wasn't reconciliation. But it was a beginning. And for Marcus, that was everything. The weeks after the hospital turned into months. Fall gave way to winter, and Boston transformed into a world of snow and holiday lights. Marcus settled into a rhythm that felt more natural than anything he'd done in his corporate life. Every Sunday he picked up Liam, but now Danielle sometimes joined them, hesitant at first, then gradually more relaxed. They went to museums, they visited the library. They made snowmen in the park while Liam threw snowballs and laughed. Marcus also started having dinner at Danielle's apartment twice a week. Nothing fancy, just spaghetti or tacos or whatever Liam wanted. Marcus would help cook, and afterward they'd play board games or watch movies together. It felt like family. But Marcus and Danielle still kept a careful distance. They didn't talk about the past. They didn't talk about the future. They just focused on being present for Liam, until one evening in early December, when everything changed. Marcus was helping Liam with homework at the kitchen table, while Danielle made dinner. Liam was working on addition problems, his tongue sticking out in concentration. "If I have 5 apples and get 3 more, how many do I have?" Marcus asked. 8? Perfect," Liam grinned. "Math is easy when you explain it." Danielle smiled from the stove, stirring pasta sauce. The apartment smelled like garlic and tomatoes. Christmas lights twinkled on a small tree in the corner. Liam had insisted on decorating it the day after Thanksgiving. This was everything Marcus had never known he wanted. His phone buzzed. A news alert. Victoria Crane faces legal action for fraud and harassment. Marcus opened the article. Gavin had warned him this might happen. Other people Victoria had manipulated over the years had come forward with evidence. Text message forgeries, fake screenshots, deliberate sabotage of relationships and business deals. The evidence was overwhelming. "Everything okay?" Danielle asked, noticing his expression. "Victoria's being investigated for fraud." Danielle set down the spoon. "Are you involved?" "No. Other people came forward, people she hurt over the years." Marcus closed his phone. Gavin said the evidence against her is pretty damning. Good, Danielle said quietly. She deserves to face consequences. I'm not celebrating it, but I'm glad the truth is finally out there. Liam looked up from his homework. Who's Victoria? Someone who made some bad choices, Marcus said carefully. But we don't need to worry about her anymore. Oh, can we have garlic bread with dinner? Absolutely, Danielle said, and just like that, the moment passed. After dinner, Marcus helped clean up while Liam got ready for bed. When he came back to the kitchen, Danielle was drying dishes, staring out the window. You okay? Marcus asked. I keep thinking about what could have been, if Victoria hadn't interfered, if you'd known about Liam from the start. She set down the dish towel. We lost so much time. I know. Sometimes I'm so angry about it I can barely breathe, and sometimes I just feel sad for what we missed. Marcus moved closer. Me too. But then I look at Liam and I think, maybe it happened the way it needed to. Maybe I needed to learn to be strong on my own. Maybe you needed to figure out what really mattered. She turned to face him. Does that make sense? It does. I'm still scared, though, of trusting this, of believing it's real. What would help? What do you need from me? Danielle was quiet for a moment. Just keep showing up, keep being patient. Keep being the person you've been these last few months. I can do that. And Marcus? She looked at him seriously. I need you to know that even if things work out between us, and that's a big if, I'm not going back to being that girl who waited for you to notice her. I'm different now, stronger. I have my own life. I don't want you to be that girl. I love who you are now. You don't really know who I am now. Then let me learn. Something shifted in Danielle's expression. Something soft and vulnerable. Okay. The next weekend was Liam's kindergarten winter program. All the children were performing songs and poems for their families. Liam had been practicing his lines for weeks. You're both coming, right? He asked anxiously the night before. Mommy and Marcus. Of course we're both coming, Danielle assured him. And you'll sit together? Danielle glanced at Marcus. We'll sit together. The school auditorium was packed with parents the next evening. Marcus and Danielle found seats in the middle section. They sat close but not touching, aware of the other parents watching and whispering. The scandal had died down, but people still remembered. Marcus could feel their stares. Danielle must have felt them too, because she sat up a little straighter, her chin lifted. Ignore them, Marcus said quietly. I'm trying. The lights dimmed. Children filed onto the stage in their holiday outfits. Liam wore a red sweater and looked terrified. When it was his class's turn, they sang Jingle Bells, with more enthusiasm than accuracy. Liam forgot half the words and just moved his mouth, which made Marcus smile. Then came the individual poems. Each child had to recite a short verse about their favorite part of the holidays. Liam walked to the microphone, his eyes scanning the audience. When he found Marcus and Danielle, he relaxed a little. My name is Liam Porter, he said, his voice small through the speakers. My favorite part of the holidays is that my family is together now. I have a mommy and a daddy, and that's the best present ever. The words hit Marcus like a physical force. His throat tightened. Beside him, Danielle's breath caught. She grabbed Marcus's hand, without seeming to realize it. Liam finished his poem and ran off stage. The audience applauded, but Marcus barely heard it. He was too busy trying not to cry. Danielle's hand stayed in his. After the program, they found Liam in the classroom. He ran to them, still wearing his red sweater. Did you like it? Did I do okay? You were perfect, Danielle said, hugging him tight. Absolutely perfect, Marcus agreed, his voice rough with emotion. They went out for pizza to celebrate. Liam chattered the whole time about the program, about his friends, about how Billy had forgotten his entire poem and just made up words. Marcus and Danielle didn't talk much. They just watched their son, their hands occasionally brushing across the table. Later that night, after they'd dropped Liam off at home and Marcus was about to leave, Danielle stopped him at the door. What Liam said tonight, she began, about having a family. I know it was everything. Danielle's eyes were bright. He's never had that before, a complete family. And seeing how happy it made him, Danielle, I'm not saying everything is fixed. I'm not saying I'm ready to just forget the past 6 years. She took a breath. But I am saying that maybe we could try. Really try, not just for Liam, but for us. Marcus's heart hammered. What are you saying? I'm saying I want to see where this goes. I want to see if we can build something real, something that lasts. Are you sure? No, I'm terrified, actually. She laughed shakily. But I'm also tired of being afraid. Tired of protecting myself so much that I can't let anyone in. Marcus stepped closer. I won't hurt you again. I promise. You can't promise that. People hurt each other sometimes. It's part of loving someone. She looked up at him. But I think you'll try not to. And I think that's enough. It's more than enough. It's everything. They stood in the doorway, the space between them charged with possibility. I should go, Marcus said, though he didn't move. Yeah, you should. Neither of them moved. Finally, Danielle smiled. Good night, Marcus. Good night. He walked to his car, feeling lighter than he had in years. Christmas approached quickly. Marcus asked Danielle if he could take Liam shopping for presents. He wants to get you something special, Marcus explained. But he needs help. You don't have to do that. I want to. So one Saturday afternoon, Marcus and Liam went to the mall. It was crowded with holiday shoppers, Christmas music playing over the speakers. What does your mum like? Marcus asked as they walked through the stores. She likes books and warm socks and that coffee with the fancy name. Lattes? Yeah. They picked out a soft scarf in deep blue, a book by Danielle's favorite author, and a gift certificate to the coffee shop near her apartment. Liam insisted on using his own money, $5 saved from his allowance. This isn't quite enough, Marcus said gently. How about I help you with the rest and you can pay me back later? Like a loan? Exactly like a loan. Liam thought about it seriously. Okay, but I'm definitely paying you back. Marcus smiled. I know you will. They wrapped the presents together at Marcus's townhouse. Liam was terrible at it. The paper was crooked and there was too much tape, but he worked so carefully that Marcus didn't help. Do you think she'll like it? Liam asked anxiously. She's going to love it, because you picked it out for her. Good. Liam sat back, satisfied. Then he looked at Marcus. Can I ask you something? Anything. Are you and Mommy going to get married? Marcus's breath caught. I don't know, buddy. Why do you ask? Because Tommy's parents are married. And they live together. And I think it would be cool if we all lived together. Liam played with a piece of wrapping paper. But Mommy says we have to take things slow. Your mom is very smart. Taking things slow is good. But do you want to marry her? Marcus knelt down so he was eye level with Liam. I love your mom very much. And I love you very much. And if your mom would let me, then yes, I'd like us to be a family. A real family. Like official? Like official. Liam grinned. That would be awesome. Christmas morning came cold and clear. Marcus woke early, nervous energy making sleep impossible. He'd been invited to spend Christmas at Danielle's apartment, the first major holiday together. He brought presents for both of them. For Liam, he'd gotten an advanced Lego set and some books about space. For Danielle, he'd gotten a silver bracelet with 3 small charms, one for each of them. When he arrived at 9, Liam opened the door in his pajamas. You're here. Come see what Santa brought. The living room was covered in wrapping paper. Liam's presents were already half opened. Danielle sat on the couch in sweatpants and an oversized sweater, her hair messy, looking more beautiful than Marcus had ever seen her. Merry Christmas, she said, smiling. Merry Christmas. They spent the morning opening presents. Liam loved everything, but he was most excited about giving his mother the scarf and book. I picked them out myself, he announced proudly. Danielle's eyes filled with tears. They're perfect, baby, thank you. Marcus helped a little, but mostly it was me. I can tell. She hugged him tight. When it was Marcus's turn to give Danielle her present, his hands shook slightly. She opened the box and stared at the bracelet. The 3 charms, Marcus explained. One for you, one for Liam, one for me. I hoped. Danielle touched the charms gently. It's beautiful. There's a note too. She found the small card tucked in the box. Marcus had written, for the family I lost and found again, for the woman who gave me everything, for the future I hope we'll build together. Danielle read it twice, tears streaming down her face. Then she got up and left the room. Liam looked worried. Did you make her cry? I think so, but hopefully the good kind of crying. Marcus found Danielle in her bedroom, sitting on the edge of her bed. I'm sorry if I overstepped, he said from the doorway. You didn't overstep. She wiped her eyes. I'm just overwhelmed by how much has changed, by how different everything feels now. Different good or different bad? Different good. Scary good. She looked up at him. I spent so many years being angry at you, being hurt, and now all of that is fading, and I don't know what to do with these new feelings. Marcus sat beside her. What new feelings? Hope, happiness, trust. She laughed. Falling in love with you all over again. Marcus's heart stopped. Danielle, I know we said we'd take it slow, and we still should, But I need you to know that I'm not just doing this for Liam anymore. I'm doing it for me, too. Because I want this. I want you. I want us. Marcus cupped her face gently. Can I kiss you? I thought you'd never ask. The kiss was soft and careful at first, then deeper. 6 years of pain and longing and hope all wrapped into one moment. When they pulled apart, Danielle was crying again. Happy tears, she assured him. Good. They went back to the living room hand in hand. Liam took one look at them and grinned. You kissed, didn't you? Maybe, Danielle said. Tommy says when grown-ups kiss, it means they're in love. Tommy's pretty smart. Does this mean Marcus can stay for dinner? He can stay as long as he wants. Marcus stayed for dinner. And then for a movie. And then he helped put Liam to bed and read him 3 stories. When he finally left that night, it was late. Danielle walked him to the door. Thank you for today, she said. Thank you for letting me be part of it. Marcus? She grabbed his hand. I meant what I said earlier, about falling in love again. So did I. I never stopped loving you, Danielle. Not once. I know. She kissed him again, soft and sweet. Drive safe. Marcus drove home through empty streets, his heart so full it hurt. The new year came with more changes. Marcus officially started a small consulting business from his townhouse, helping non-profits with their technology needs. It wasn't glamorous and it didn't pay like Hailtech had, but it was meaningful. He spent his mornings working and his afternoons either at the youth center or with Liam. Evenings were usually at Danielle's apartment. They fell into an easy rhythm. Some nights they'd all cook together. Some nights Marcus would bring takeout. Some nights they'd just order pizza and watch Liam's favorite shows. It was simple. It was ordinary. It was perfect. In February, Liam's school announced a father-son activity day. Liam brought home the permission slip, his face anxious. Can Marcus come? He asked Danielle. As my dad. Danielle looked at Marcus, who was helping with dishes. What do you think? I'd love to come, if that's okay with you. It's more than okay. The activity day was on a Saturday. Marcus picked Liam up early, both of them excited. They were going to build birdhouses together. The school gym was full of fathers and sons working with wood and nails. Marcus had never built anything in his life, but he followed the instructions carefully while Liam painted their birdhouse bright blue. This is the best day ever, Liam announced, getting paint on his nose. Marcus looked around the gym at all the other families, then back at his son. Yeah, it really is. When they finished, their birdhouse was crooked and the paint was uneven, but Liam was so proud he insisted on carrying it himself. Wait until Mommy sees it. They brought it back to Danielle's apartment. She made a huge fuss over it, taking pictures and promising they'd hang it in the tree outside. That evening, after Liam was in bed, Marcus and Danielle sat on the couch together. She was curled up against his side, comfortable and relaxed. I've been thinking, Marcus said carefully. About us, about the future. Danielle sat up slightly. Okay, I know we're taking things slow, and I don't want to rush anything, but I also don't want to waste any more time. He turned to face her. I want to know where you see this going, because for me I see everything. I see marriage and mornings together and growing old. I see being Liam's dad officially, not just in practice. I see building a real life together. Danielle was quiet for a long moment. I see that too. Eventually. Eventually? I'm not ready yet, Marcus. Not for marriage or living together or any of the big steps. She took his hand. But I'm getting there. Every day I'm getting closer. I just need time. How much time? I don't know. Is that okay? Marcus kissed her forehead. It's more than okay. I'll wait as long as you need. Promise? Promise. Spring came slowly to Boston. The snow melted, revealing brown grass that gradually turned green. Trees budded. Flowers bloomed. Marcus continued showing up every day. He helped Liam learn to ride a bike. He fixed Danielle's leaky faucet. He attended every school event and every parent-teacher conference. In April, Danielle's school held a fundraiser fair. The whole neighborhood came out. Parents, students, local businesses. Marcus helped set up tables and organize games. Danielle ran the book sale. Liam dragged them both from booth to booth, wanting to try everything. It started to rain around 2 o'clock, a sudden spring storm that sent everyone scrambling for cover. Marcus found Danielle and Liam under a tent, both of them laughing as rain poured down. "This is crazy!" Danielle shouted over the thunder. "Come on!" Marcus pulled off his jacket and held it over their heads. "My car's close." They ran through the rain together, Liam between them, all 3 of them soaked and laughing. Marcus's car was parked at the edge of the lot. He unlocked it and they piled inside dripping wet. Liam sat in the back seat grinning. That was awesome. Danielle pushed wet hair out of her face. We're completely soaked. Worth it, Marcus said. She looked at him, really looked at him. His shirt was plastered to his chest. His hair was dripping. He had mud on his shoes. He looked perfect. You really didn't give up, she said softly. What? On us. On me. Even when I told you to leave. Even when things were hard. You kept showing up. Her voice shook. You really meant it when you said you weren't going anywhere. Of course I meant it. Danielle leaned across the console and kissed him. Not carefully this time. Not tentatively, but fully and completely, like she was finally ready to trust it. When she pulled back, she was crying. I'm ready, she whispered. Ready for what? For everything. For us. For the future. She touched his face. I love you, Marcus. I'm done being scared. Are you sure? I'm sure. From the back seat, Liam cheered. Finally, I've been waiting forever. They all laughed, the sound mixing with the rain on the roof. That evening, after the rain stopped, they drove to Marcus's townhouse. Liam ran ahead to the spare bedroom. His room now, though he'd never officially moved in. What if we made this official? Marcus asked as they stood in the doorway watching Liam explore. Made what official? All of it. You and Liam could move in here. We could be a real family. Not just in practice, but in every way. Danielle considered it. This place is small for 3 people. Then we'll find somewhere bigger. Or we'll add on. Whatever you want. I want Liam to have a yard. And a good school district. Done. And I want to keep working. Keep teaching. I wouldn't dream of asking you to stop. And I want us to get married properly. Not rushed. With our families there. And Liam as our ring bearer. Marcus's breath caught. Is that a yes? To everything. To moving in together, to building a life, to eventually getting married. She smiled. To all of it. Marcus pulled the old ring box from his pocket. He'd been carrying it for months, waiting for the right moment. I know you gave this back once, he said, opening it, but I'd like to try again. Not as the same people we were 6 years ago, but as who we are now. Danielle stared at the ring. You kept it all this time? I never stopped hoping. She held out her hand. Then I guess you should put it on. Marcus slipped the ring onto her finger. It fit perfectly, just like it always had. Liam ran back to them. Are you getting married? Eventually, Danielle said. But first we're going to move in here with Marcus. How does that sound? Best day ever. Liam threw his arms around both of them. They stood there in the doorway of the tiny room, holding each other, planning their future. It wasn't a fairy tale ending. There would still be hard days ahead. Still disagreements and struggles and moments of doubt. But they would face them together. 2 months later, Danielle and Liam moved into Marcus's townhouse. They immediately started planning renovations, knocking down a wall to make the kitchen bigger, adding a deck in the backyard, painting Liam's room the exact shade of blue he wanted. Marcus went back to working full-time with his consulting business. Danielle continued teaching. Liam started 1st grade and joined the soccer team, where Marcus volunteered as an assistant coach despite knowing nothing about soccer. Life settled into something wonderful and ordinary. Gavin came to dinner one Sunday evening. He'd brought wine and stories about the new CEO at Hailtech. You don't miss it? He asked Marcus while they grilled burgers outside. Sometimes I miss the excitement, the big deals. Marcus glanced through the window where Danielle and Liam were setting the table. But then I come home to this and I realize I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. You've changed, Gavin observed. For the better, I hope. Definitely for the better. That fall, Marcus and Danielle got married in a small ceremony at a botanical garden. Liam was the ring bearer, carrying the original rings that had brought them back together. Elaine cried through the entire ceremony. Gavin gave a toast about second chances and finding your way home. It was simple and perfect and theirs. During their first dance, Danielle whispered, I never thought we'd get here. Neither did I, Marcus admitted, but I'm so glad we did. Me too. Liam cut in halfway through the song, insisting on dancing with both of them. They made room for him between them, the 3 of them swaying together. This was everything Marcus had lost and found again. This was family. This was home. Later that night, after the wedding guests had left and Liam was asleep at Elaine's house, Marcus and Danielle sat on their back deck under the stars. Do you ever think about those 6 years? Danielle asked. About what we missed? Sometimes. But then I think about where we are now and I realize that maybe we needed that time. Maybe we needed to become these versions of ourselves before we could be ready for this. That's very philosophical of you. I learned it from someone smart. Danielle smiled and leaned against him. I love you. I love you too. They sat in comfortable silence, watching stars and planning their future. There would be more challenges ahead, there always were, but they would face them together, as a family, with love and patience and commitment. The story could have ended in tragedy. It could have ended in bitterness and regret. Instead, it ended in hope. In a small townhouse in Boston, a family slept peacefully. A father who'd learned to show up, a mother who'd learned to trust again, a little boy who finally had the family he'd always wanted. The ring that had once represented a broken promise now sat on Danielle's finger, symbolizing something stronger, a love that had survived separation and scandal, manipulation and mistrust, pride and pain, a love that had chosen to come back, a love that had chosen to stay. And in the morning, they would wake up together and start another ordinary, beautiful day. Because that's what real love looked like, not grand gestures or dramatic speeches, just showing up every single day together,